Let me at the very outset thank the old boys in Australia. I remember with gratitude. Uh, the trip to Australia was Sir's last trip, and I remember how happy he was. You all looked after him very well. Thereafter, even during the funeral, as well as thereafter, I remember the number of religious ceremonies you all held. So all in all, you did your very best, and as a member of the family, I wish to express my sincere gratitude to every one of you. Talking about Sir, 10 months have gone. It's been fairly difficult for the family, but looking back at his life, I as a son, as well as you all as Senanayakians, I'm sure we have a lot to learn from him as well as our dear school. It was during funeral time that Sri Param, who was a member of our first batch, who came down in fact for the funeral, he just flew in for the day, and thereafter he came again, and during his second visit, we were able to spend some time with him, and I got into a conversation, and we kind of recalled the famous win we recorded at cricket against St. Thomas's. I thought I'll just kind of tell this story to you because many of you all are interested in cricket, being in Australia, and it also gives an overview of Sir's commitment towards DS. If you remember, during that time it was very difficult for us to get fixtures from the leading schools because DS was just coming up, and none of the leading schools bothered to give us a first 11 cricket fixture. So Mr. Alice, with the greatest difficulty, managed to convince St. Thomas's to give us a fixture, and that too they gave us during the third term. Those of you who know cricket, generally the first 11 fixtures, the not so important ones are given on the during the third term, and the important ones are in the first term leading towards the big match. So St. Thomas's, it was their centenary year against Royal College, and they decided to give this encounter, which was their first match in the third term. So they began the season with a match with DS. The match was played at No Man's Grounds, where the Nelum Popune is now, and DS obviously got out for a very low score because St. Thomas had a very good side. St. Thomas's then basically, St. Thomas's batted first, and he got out for a low score, and they had a good lead. St. Thomas's then batted again for the second inning, and obviously they wanted to begin the season with a win, and it was during that time our captain, who was Sri Param, also had to take part at the Sugatadasa Stadium because there was a festival for bands, and I happened to be a member of the school band. So when the second inning was played, Sri Param excused himself and came to Sugatadasa to join the band, and that probably was another reason for the Thomium captain to make an early declaration, giving DS about 3.5 hours to get a huge score. I think it was about 150 odd they had to get, and they knew that Sri Param was not there, and they thought it was the best opportunity they had to get the DS side out and start with a win. So when we were playing at Sugatadasa, I remember we were just marching down the track. I suddenly saw my father running to the track and calling Sri Param, and we really didn't know what happened. We thought there was a bereavement in Sri Param's family or whatever. So suddenly Hussein Jaya, who was playing the bass drum, was asked to take the bass, and Sri was taken out. Thereafter, at the end of the day, we heard some good news. So what had really happened was, when St. Thomas's made a declaration, my father had suddenly thought, maybe this is our opportunity to start the DS cricket, first 11 cricket, with a win, and what better win it could be compared to beating St. Thomas's. So he immediately saw this opportunity, and he had driven his car, the EN 8949, the Volkswagen. Those of you who may remember, that was the car he had during that time. So he came rushing to Sugatadasa, took Sri Param, and Sri was telling me while he was driving back to Nomad's grounds, my father had been telling Sri, he had not spoken about the match, not spoken about cricket, and all that he had told Sri was, Sri, in life, you get only very few opportunities, and whenever an opportunity comes our way, we must grab it. And you may have an opportunity of that nature in a few minutes. I want you to do your very best for the school. So Sri had little known what was going on, and when he went to the Nomad's ground, it so happened that my younger brother, who is no more, Malik, had been ready to welcome Sri with a pair of pads. So moment he got down from the vehicle, Malik has padded him up, and then my father said, at the next fall of the wicket, you need to go and try and somehow win this game for us. So Sri had about 25 minutes to go and get about probably 60, 70 runs. And he went into bat at the fall of the next wicket. And he basically uh, kind of hammered and scored so quickly. It came to the last over where he had to get 16 runs, and he says that during the first 4 balls he got 4 fours and won the match for D.S. So that was the beginning of first 11 cricket for D.S. And that kind of shows what D.S. was, what a closely knit family it was, and how we all worked together. So as Senanayakans, I think we have to remember a few things. Uh, if you, we all know that our motto is country before self, and this was introduced in 1967, long before the war started. And during the war, there were many campaigns to kind of inculcate and promote patriotism, and this theme of country before self or Rata Perata, they all kind of came. But little we realized that we had that in 1967, and this could be the reason why DS had the highest number of officers dying during the war, because they were all in our systems. The other thing that we have to remember is we were a multicultural, multiracial school, and we need to take pride of the fact that we are the only school that has 4 shrine rooms in our school. And we had a very peaceful setup, and we believed in being multicultural and multiracial. DS also had students coming from Cinnamon Gardens or Kurunduwatta, and also from Vanatha Mulla. So we had a very good grounding in getting to work with very different people and getting to know very different people. I think that is the reason when it comes to networking and of course social skills, we all do well wherever we are, especially when you live abroad. So these are things that we have to remember, and it was just very recently when one of our old boys, Udaya Gammampila, mentioned this, it really struck even me, and he said, if you look at schools in Sri Lanka today, at least the leading ones, there's only one school that has really stood out, a school that has started after independence. We got our independence in 1948. The only school that has done well, a school that has started after independence, I think is DS. We are now compared to schools which have been established long years ago. So as a young school, I think we all can be proud, but the important thing is for us to maintain those values, and values of being multicultural, multiracial, and of course to be Sri Lankan. So I think this is what Mr. Alice wanted, and this is exactly what you all are doing as old boys, and let us keep this going, and that is, I think, the biggest gift that we can give Mr. Alice. Thank you.